March 15th, 2024, 11:47 at night, Midtown, Atlanta, Georgia. Elena Hartley lay crumpled on the studio apartment floor, her right arm twisted at an angle nature never intended. Blood from the gash above her eyebrow pooled warm against the cracked iPhone screen beneath her cheek. Shattered glass from the coffee table glittered across cheap laminate flooring like cruel diamonds, catching dim light from the kitchenette. 8 feet away, beyond the wreckage of their last argument, Ginger's final cry faded to silence. The orange tabby had been her mother's cat, 6 years old, the only living thing that still loved Elena without condition or complication. Past tense now. Garrett Brennan's Dodge Charger engine roared to life in the parking lot below. Tires shrieked against asphalt. The sound carved through her shock like a blade through silk. He would return. The pattern never changed. Violence, exit, return with apologies that meant nothing, and promises that meant less. Tonight felt different, only in degree, not kind. 20 minutes, maybe less if he found another bottle. Elena's left hand trembled as she dragged the phone closer. Mascara and blood smeared the cracked screen. Her vision doubled, tripled, settled into painful clarity. She needed Kate Morrison. Best friend since Clark Central High School, the only person who knew enough of the truth to understand the desperate mathematics of this moment. The message typed itself through muscle memory and desperation. He broke my arm and killed Ginger. I can't do this anymore. Send. Autocorrect had other plans. Kate's new number, switched last Tuesday when she'd finally escaped Verizon's data throttling, differed by a single digit. The text message hurtled through Atlanta's cell network toward a stranger's phone. Wrong number, wrong life. Maybe the right choice after all. 47 seconds crawled past, each one measured by the throbbing metronome of her fractured radius. The screen lit up with a response that made her breath catch. Address. Now. Not Kate's voice. Kate would have called immediately, words tumbling over each other in panicked concern. This carried weight, authority, command wrapped in 2 words that somehow promised both threat and salvation. Elena stared at those 5 letters and 1 period for 11 seconds. Her rational mind cataloged the dangers. Serial killers, human traffickers, worse things that happened to women who trusted strangers with their location at midnight. Her desperate mind countered with simpler arithmetic. Kate wasn't answering. Her arm screamed with every heartbeat. Ginger was dead, and Garrett would return. The choice made itself. 2,847 Fairview Apartments, Unit 12. The response arrived in 4 seconds flat. Lock door. Don't open for anyone but me. 18 minutes. 18 minutes. Precision suggested competence, or calculation. Elena used her good arm to drag herself toward the door. Every inch of movement extracted its price in white-hot agony. The deadbolt clicked home. She collapsed against the base of the door, cast in her own blood and another woman's broken promises. Across town, 52 floors above Peachtree Street, Dominic Michael Salvatore set down his Mont Blanc pen. The rezoning contracts for Little 5 Points could wait. 8 commercial buildings, $47.3 million in leveraged capital, 3 years of strategic property acquisition, all of it suddenly secondary to 2 sentences from an unknown number. Councilman William Davis shifted his considerable weight in the leather chair. Sweat darkened his collar despite the office's climate control. The text appeared ordinary enough on the phone's surface. Desperation bled through the screen. Dominic stood. The motion carried finality that made Davis flinch. Meeting's done. Davis sputtered something about permits and guarantees. The words evaporated into irrelevance. Lucas Grant materialized from his position near the door, 6'4" of controlled violence wrapped in a suit that cost less than Dominic's, but concealed weapons more efficiently. The scar bisecting his left eyebrow, gift from an IED outside Kandahar, pulled tight as he processed his employer's expression. The elevator descended in silence. Lucas had learned years ago that Dominic's quiet carried more weight than other men's shouting. 37 seconds into the descent, he spoke. Need everything on this number. Everything. Lucas pulled out his own phone, made a call. 2 minutes and 14 seconds later, he had answers. Elena Marie Hartley, 28, born Athens, Georgia. Mother deceased 3 years prior, ovarian cancer. Father unknown, no name on birth certificate. Waitress at Rosie's Diner on Ponce de Leon, 4 years employed. Nursing school dropout, 2019, financial hardship. Clean record, no arrests, no warrants. Current address matched the one she'd texted. Boyfriend, Garrett William Brennan, 31. 2 assault convictions, plea bargain to misdemeanors. Possession with intent, 18 months at Fulton County. DUI last year, suspended license. Known associate of Silas Whitmore's distribution network, small-time dealer, meth primarily. Medical history showed a pattern Lucas recognized from a dozen similar cases. Emergency room visit November 2023. Bruised ribs, patient reported falling downstairs. August, sprained wrist, accident at work. May, concussion, walked into cabinet door. The lies women told to protect men who hurt them never changed. Only the details varied. Dominic's jaw tightened as Lucas recited the facts. The Escalade cut through late-night Atlanta traffic with purpose. 18 minutes became 16, then 12. 5 years ago, another woman had needed help Dominic couldn't provide in time. Isabella Rose Salvatore, born Bennett, dead at 33 in an underground parking garage. The BMW's fuel line had been professionally tampered with. Remote detonator. The Morelli family out of Philadelphia sending a message about territorial encroachment. The message arrived louder than intended. Isabella had taken Dominic's car that morning because hers needed an oil change. The explosion painted the concrete ceiling with what remained of the only woman Dominic had allowed himself to love in a world that punished such weakness. He'd built higher walls after that, kept everyone at professional distance. Helped women when the opportunity arose because helping them helped nothing, but at least meant something. His father's voice echoed across the years, whiskey rough and absolute. Men who raise hands to women aren't men, they're cowards wearing skin. You see one, you end him, no discussion. Domenico Salvatore Sr. had died 2 years after Isabella, cirrhosis claiming what the Philadelphia families couldn't. His rules survived him. Dominic enforced them with the efficiency his father had taught, and the resources 7 generations of Salvatores had accumulated. The Escalade pulled into Fairview Apartments at 12:05 a.m. 3-story brick building, 1970s construction, paint peeling like sunburned skin, the kind of place where neighbors heard screaming and turned up televisions. Where police reports vanished into bureaucratic black holes. Where women died slowly from accumulated injuries and faster from single catastrophic ones. Unit 12 occupied the 2nd floor. Dominic knocked 3 times, firm enough to convey authority, gentle enough to avoid threat. Elena Hartley, my name is Dominic. I'm the person you texted. Silence stretched 7 seconds. The peephole darkened. Elena saw 2 men in suits that cost more than 3 months of her wages. The older one carried danger like cologne. Expensive, subtle, unmistakable. The younger one's scar and military bearing suggested he'd earned the right to look that calm while clearly armed. Every survival instinct Elena possessed screamed warnings. Strange men, midnight, her alone and injured. The mathematics of vulnerability. How do I know you're not? He cut through her question with precision that bordered on violation. You texted this number 19 minutes ago. Said someone broke your arm, killed your cat. His name is Garrett Brennan. You're a waitress at Rosie's Diner. Your best friend, Kate Morrison, teaches 4th grade at Oakmont Elementary. Want more proof? Or want help? The shock of being known by a stranger paralyzed her for 3 heartbeats. Then the deadbolt clicked. The door opened. Dominic's assessment took 3 seconds. Training from his father and 20 years managing human assets made him efficient. The swelling in her right forearm told the radial fracture story, possible ulnar involvement. The cut above her eyebrow needed cleaning and probably stitches. Shattered safety glass scattered the apartment like evidence. The whiskey bottle, Jim Beam, 3/4 empty, lay on its side near the overturned couch cushion. Lucas saw the kitchen first. His peripheral vision caught the small orange form. He'd done 3 tours in Afghanistan, seen children blown apart by landmines, civilians executed in streets. The deliberate cruelty of killing a pet to hurt a woman still made his jaw clench. Boss. Dominic's expression didn't change, but his voice dropped an octave. Medical kit. Call Dr. Walsh. Tell her we're 20 minutes out. He knelt before Elena, eye contact without staring, professional distance without coldness. May I examine your arm? She nodded. Speech seemed beyond her current capacity. His touch proved surprisingly gentle. Fingers traced the injury with clinical precision. She winced but didn't cry out. Tough, or too shocked for pain to register fully. Clean fracture, maybe 2 bones involved. You need x-rays and proper setting. Hospital's not an option right now, but I have a private physician, best in Atlanta. She'll handle everything. I can't afford. I'm not asking you to pay. Lucas returned from the kitchen. His face told Dominic everything. Wrap her. Respectfully. We'll handle burial. Dominic turned back to Elena. I'm sorry. Truly sorry. The words broke something in her that Garrett's violence hadn't quite reached. 2 years of holding herself together through escalating abuse. 2 years of lying to Kate, to her coworkers, to the woman in the mirror. 2 years of shrinking herself smaller and quieter and more invisible, hoping that would be enough to stop his fists. It hadn't been enough. It would never have been enough. Elena collapsed forward, her face pressed against $4,000 of Tom Ford suit fabric. Blood and tears and snot ruined the jacket. Dominic didn't move. One arm supported her weight, careful of the broken limb. His other hand rested on her head with the kind of steadiness that suggested he'd held broken things before and knew how. You're safe now. I promise you're safe. The words carried conviction that made them almost believable. Elena wanted to believe them, needed to believe them, had nothing left but belief in a stranger who somehow felt safer than anyone she'd known in years. 23 minutes later, Lucas helped Elena into the Escalade's back seat. Dominic slid in beside her. The vehicle moved through Atlanta's arteries with purpose. Elena stared at the city lights bleeding past the tinted windows. Everything felt distant. Shock, probably. Maybe blood loss. Definitely the complete dissolution of the life she'd been living. The clinic occupied the first floor of a northside building that looked more like a boutique hotel than medical facility. Marble floors, original art on walls, ambient lighting designed to soothe rather than illuminate. Zero hospital smell. Dr. Evelyn Walsh met them at a private entrance. 52 years old, silver hair pulled into a precise bun, hands that had performed reconstructive surgery on Doctors Without Borders missions, and now handled Salvatore family medical issues with equal competence and considerably more compensation. She assessed Elena with the efficiency of someone who'd seen this exact presentation before. Too many times before. Mr. Grant, waiting room. Miss Hartley, examination room, please. Lucas departed without argument. Dr. Walsh knew her business. Dominic trusted her judgment. The door closed on Elena's last view of the scarred man who looked like he could kill someone with a spoon and would probably feel bad about it after. The X-rays confirmed Dominic's assessment. Radial and ulnar fractures. Clean breaks. No displacement. Lucky, if such a word applied to having your arm broken by someone who claimed to love you. Dr. Walsh set the bones with practiced efficiency. Twilight sedation dulled the worst of it. 6 stitches closed the forehead laceration. Fiberglass cast. Elena chose purple when offered color options. Some tiny rebellion against the night's darkness. Rebecca Morrison appeared during the final casting stage. 33 years old, 5'10", athletic build that came from actual training rather than gym vanity, blonde hair in a tactical ponytail, SIG P365 visible under her jacket because she wanted it visible. Former Army MP, current head of Salvatore Security, answered to Bex because Rebecca felt like someone else's name. Miss Hartley, I'm Bex. I'll be outside while Dr. Walsh finishes up. Professional, courteous, armed. Elena added Bex to the growing list of things that made no sense about this night. Dr. Walsh noticed Elena's expression. You're wondering who Mr. Salvatore is? Elena nodded. A man with considerable resources. That's not an answer. It's the answer I'm permitted to give, but I'll add this. You're the 9th woman I've treated this year for injuries like yours. Not one has regretted accepting his help. 9 women. This was a pattern, a system. Dominic Salvatore ran an underground railroad for abuse victims. The question Elena couldn't answer? Why? Dr. Walsh finished the cast work. 6 to 8 weeks for full healing, physical therapy after. Pain management script, ibuprofen primarily. I don't recommend opioids given your situation. Questions? Elena had approximately 300 questions, none of them medical. The Whitley Hotel in Buckhead represented old Atlanta money trying to look like new Atlanta sophistication. Presidential suite on the 14th floor, 1,800 square feet, bigger than any apartment Elena had occupied in her life by a factor of 4. Bex drove. The Mercedes S-Class moved through pre-dawn Atlanta like a shark through dark water. Smooth, silent, dangerous if you forgot what it was. Your belongings are already in the suite. We took inventory. List is on the desk if you want to verify. Elena's hands started shaking. They'd been inside her apartment. While Garrett could have returned, while she'd been getting treatment. How many people? How fast? How did they know what to pack? The bags on the king bed answered some questions and raised others. Her clothes, specific drugstore toiletries she preferred, laptop, photo albums including the one with her mother, even the stuffed elephant from childhood she kept hidden in the closet because Garrett mocked it. They'd cataloged her life in under 2 hours. The efficiency terrified and comforted in equal measure. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number, but she recognized it now. Get rest. We'll talk tomorrow morning. You're safe. Tomorrow felt like a country she'd never visited. Elena managed a response with her left thumb. What about Garrett? Being handled. Don't worry about him anymore. The words should have brought relief. Instead, they raised new fears. What did handled mean in Dominic Salvatore's world? She'd watched enough television to construct scenarios. None of them ended well for Garrett. Some part of her, the part that still remembered the charming man who'd bought her flowers and listened to her dreams, worried about his fate. The larger part, the part nursing a broken arm and mourning a dead cat, couldn't find the energy to care. 2:14 a.m. Elena stood in the hotel bathroom staring at her reflection. Purple cast, stitched forehead, eyes that looked older than 28. The woman in the mirror had survived something, was surviving something. The verb tense remained unclear. She managed to shower with the cast wrapped in the plastic bag Bex had provided. Took 40 minutes and required creativity. The hotel robe felt like clouds. The bed felt like surrender. She collapsed into both. Sleep came in fragments. Every sound jerked her awake. Ice machine down the hall became Garrett breaking in. Elevator ding meant he'd found her. Footsteps in the corridor meant he was coming to finish what he'd started. 3:47 a.m. marked the complete breakdown. Elena sobbed into an 800 thread count pillow. 2 years of accumulated fear and pain and shame poured out. The hotel's soundproofing meant no one heard. Maybe that made it worse. Memories played against her closed eyelids. Meeting Garrett 2 Mays ago at Rosie's Diner. He'd been charming, attentive, tipped 40% and asked about her day like the answer mattered. First date was perfect. Flowers, good conversation. He'd listened when she talked about dropping out of nursing school, about her mother's death, about feeling adrift. The first shove came 8 months ago. An argument about money. Garrett unemployed, Elena covering rent. He'd pushed her into the wall. Not hard, just enough. Then immediate apologies. Tears, promises, the classic script performed with conviction. She'd believed him because believing cost less than leaving. Each subsequent incident came with explanations. Stress, bad day. She'd provoked him. He was sorry. It wouldn't happen again. It always happened again. The intervals shortened, the violence intensified. Broken phone when he thought she was texting other men. She wasn't. Bruised ribs when dinner wasn't ready. It had been ready, just not the right temperature. Sprained wrist when she mentioned visiting Kate. He didn't like Kate's influence. Tonight, he'd been drunk, paranoid, convinced she was sleeping with the line cook at Rosie's, a 62-year-old man named Albert who talked exclusively about his grandchildren. The accusation was absurd. Garrett's rage was not. The coffee table exploded under her weight when he shoved her. Her arm snapped when she tried to catch herself. Ginger hissed at him. Garrett had always hated the cat, said it stared at him wrong. Tonight, he'd made good on years of threats. The sound of Ginger's final cry would live in Elena's nightmares forever. So would the casual cruelty in Garrett's eyes as he grabbed his jacket and keys. Maybe now you'll learn to keep your mouth shut. Those had been his parting words. He'd left her bleeding on the floor with a dead cat and a broken arm, confident she'd still be there when he returned, confident she had nowhere else to go. He'd been right about that, until he wasn't. Elena woke at 8:17 a.m. to sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows. The arm throbbed. The rest of her felt hollowed out. She found clothes in the closet, new, her size, Nordstrom tags still attached. A note hung with the outfit. Sizes extrapolated from belongings. If incorrect, charge replacements to room. Bex. The level of organization suggested resources beyond normal. Elena added it to her growing list of questions for a man she'd met 6 hours ago and somehow trusted with her life. 9:03 a.m. found her in the dining room, the hotel's restaurant, elegant without being showy, old Atlanta money aesthetic. Dominic Salvatore sat at a corner table, privacy screen, view of the kitchen exits. He stood when she approached, pulled out her chair, old-fashioned courtesy that felt genuine rather than performative. "How's the arm?" "Hurts, doctor. Walsh gave me Vicodin, but I don't like how it makes me feel." "Understandable. Ibuprofen helping?" "Better." He ordered coffee for both. The assumption irritated and comforted her. He'd guessed correctly. She did drink coffee. Black, 2 sugars. How did he know? The waiter departed. Privacy returned. Elena's hands wrapped around the cup for something to anchor her. "Where's Garrett?" "On a bus to Jacksonville. Left at 3:15 this morning. He won't be back." "How can you be sure?" "Because he understands what happens if he does." The certainty in Dominic's voice made Elena's stomach tighten. She'd seen enough crime shows to fill in blanks. Her imagination painted scenarios involving shallow graves and industrial machinery. "What did you do to him?" "Had a conversation. Made options clear. He chose the smart one." "You didn't kill him?" Dominic leaned back, studied her with eyes that missed nothing. "Elena, I'm going to be honest with you. About who I am, what I do, because you deserve to know what you've stepped into." The preamble made her pulse quicken. Nothing good ever followed such declarations. "My name is Dominic Michael Salvatore. My family has been in Atlanta for 7 generations. We run legitimate businesses: real estate development, construction, waste management, restaurants. Russo Development Corporation. You've probably seen our signs." Elena nodded. Russo Development buildings dotted Atlanta's skyline. Billion-dollar company. She'd never connected the Salvatore name to it. "We also run illegitimate businesses: gambling, money laundering, protection, import-export of controlled substances in limited capacity. Things that operate outside the law." The word hung unspoken between them. Elena forced herself to say it. "Your mafia." That word carries baggage. But essentially, yes. My family controls certain aspects of Atlanta's underworld. We maintain order. We have rules. Lines we don't cross. Elena should have stood. Should have run. Should have called police or Kate or someone who existed in the normal world. Instead, she heard herself ask, "What are the rules?" Dominic's slight smile suggested approval. "Rule 1. No drugs to children. Ever. Men like Silas Whitmore who sell meth to teenagers? They're not part of our organization for exactly that reason. Rule 2. No human trafficking. Prostitution that's consensual and protected is different, but trafficking gets an immediate death sentence. His voice hardened on the third rule. Rule 3. No violence against women, children, or animals. Zero tolerance. That's why you helped me. That's why I helped you. Garrett violated Rule 3. In my world, that's unforgivable. Elena processed information that should have sent her screaming into the street. Criminal empire, murder, organized crime. All the things law-abiding citizens feared. You've helped other women. Doctor. Walsh said, I'm the 9th this year. Yes, why? Dominic paused. Genuine vulnerability flickered across his expression. 5 years ago, my wife Isabella died. Car bomb meant for me. She was collateral damage of my world. He showed a photo on his phone. Blonde woman, beautiful, laughing, green eyes that held light like promises. I swore after that, never again. No more innocent victims. So when I can stop violence against women, I do. It doesn't bring her back, but it means something. The raw honesty in his voice made Elena's chest tighten. This man who orchestrated criminal enterprises and presumably ordered violence when necessary had been broken by love and loss. The contradiction made him human. Dangerous, but human. What happens to me now? That's your choice. I'm giving you options. He laid them out with the precision of a contract negotiation. Option 1. Fresh start in a new city. He'd provide apartment, job references, $20,000 in starting capital. Clean break. New life. Walk away and never look back. Option 2. Stay in Atlanta. Work for Russo Development in a legitimate capacity. $58,000 annually plus benefits. Real job analyzing property acquisitions. Real work. And the catch? No catch. But option 2 means you'll see how my world operates. Not the illegal parts unless you ask, but you'll be around it. You'll meet people who work in gray areas. You'll understand things most people don't. At any point you want out, you tell me. I'll give you option 1 then. Elena stared at this man who'd rescued her from Garrett and now offered choices when she'd had none for 2 years. The smart decision was option 1. Run. Hide. Build a life where mafia bosses didn't factor into daily calculations. But running felt like losing, felt like letting Garrett win, felt like staying small and scared forever. I want option 2. You're sure? No, but I'm sure I don't want to run anymore. I've been running from Garrett for 2 years. Hiding, shrinking, making myself smaller. I want to see what it's like to not be afraid. Dominic's smile reached his eyes this time. Then welcome to Russo Development, Miss Hartley. Across town, Rusty's Tavern opened its doors at 1:30 a.m. to regulars who preferred darkness to daylight. Garrett Brennan occupied his usual stool. 3 friends formed his audience. Byron Fletcher, massive and nervous. Reed Sullivan, aggressive and stupid. Colton Hayes, cowardly and loud. Garrett displayed his bloody knuckles like trophies. Bitch had it coming, talking back, disrespecting me in my own home. Had to teach her a lesson. The men laughed, encouraged, validated. The same script performed in dive bars across America every night. What about the cat? Colton's question earned more laughter. Fuck that cat. Thing hated me anyway. Kicked it into next week. More laughter, more validation. Men congratulating another man for violence against someone weaker. The ritual as old as cruelty itself. 1:47 a.m., the door opened. 4 men in suits entered. Wrong neighborhood for suits. Wrong time for legitimate business. The bar went silent. Lucas Grant's scar caught the neon Budweiser sign glow. He scanned the room, found Garrett, walked straight to him with the inevitability of gravity. Garrett William Brennan? Garrett's hand moved toward his waistband. The .38 Special sat in his car. Mistake. Lucas shook his head slowly. Don't. Unless you want this to go badly for everyone here. Byron, Reed, and Colton stood, attempting intimidation, failing. You know who you're fucking with? Jackson Reeves stepped forward, 6'3", former college linebacker, cold eyes that had seen violence and felt nothing. Enlighten us. Garrett's protected. Silas Whitmore's crew. You mess with him, you mess with... Jackson's laugh cut through the posturing. Silas Whitmore runs a meth house and beats prostitutes. He doesn't protect small-time dealers who hit women. And he sure as hell won't start a war with Dominic Salvatore over Garrett fucking Brennan. The name landed like a hammer. Dominic Salvatore. Everyone in Atlanta's underworld knew it. Old money. Real power. The kind of man you didn't cross unless you wanted to die badly. Byron's face lost color. He knew. He'd heard the stories. Lucas moved closer to Garrett. You put hands on someone. She asked for help. Unfortunately for you, she texted the wrong number. Or maybe the right number. Garrett's bravado cracked like cheap plaster. I don't have beef with Salvatore. This is a mistake. No mistake. You hurt someone who reached out. Now you're coming with us. Quiet. No scene. We're going to have a conversation about boundaries and consequences. Garrett bolted, tried to run. Poor choice. Jackson's linebacker training served him well. Garrett hit the pool table face first. The felt tore further. His arm twisted behind his back. Face pressed into stained fabric that smelled like beer and failure. Lucas addressed the bartender who'd developed sudden blindness. Sorry about the table. Send the bill to Russo Development. They'll cover it. Garrett dragged into the parking lot. Escalade trunk opened. Spacious. Unfortunately for Garrett. The trunk closed on his muffled protests. Lucas climbed into the driver's seat. Warehouse district. Bosses waiting. The vehicle merged into Atlanta's late-night arteries. Behind them, Rusty's Tavern returned to its regular programming. Byron, Reed, and Colton sat in silence. Self-preservation trumped loyalty. Always did when Salvatore family got involved. They drank their beers, didn't talk about Garrett, didn't speculate about his fate. Some things were better left unexamined in the harsh light of consequence. The abandoned meatpacking plant in Atlanta's warehouse district had been Salvatore property for 43 years. Legitimate ownership, legitimate taxes paid, legitimate excuses for why the building remained perpetually under renovation. The fluorescent lights illuminated concrete floors scrubbed clean enough to pass health inspections that would never happen. Garrett Brennan sat zip-tied to a metal chair in the center of the empty space, discovering that silence could be louder than screaming. Dominic stood 6 feet away, hadn't touched Garrett yet, didn't need to. Lucas and Jackson flanked the perimeter like armed parentheses, bracketing a very short, very final sentence. Garrett William Brennan, 31 years old, dropped out of Clark Central High School junior year. Arrest record beginning at 19, currently dealing methamphetamine for Silas Whitmore, barely earning enough to buy the whiskey you used to beat Elena Hartley. The casual recitation of facts felt worse than threats. Garrett tried deflection, the last refuge of cornered men. Look, I don't know what she told you, but... Dominic pulled out his phone, played a recording. Garrett's own voice at Rusty's Tavern, bragging about teaching bitches lessons and kicking cats into next week. Lucas had captured every word, always prepared, always thorough. The audio ended. Silence rushed back in to fill the space. Dominic pocketed the phone. I'm giving you 2 options. Listen carefully because I won't repeat them. Option 1. You leave Atlanta, tonight. Don't pack, don't go home. Lucas drives you to the Greyhound station. You board the first bus to anywhere. Memphis, Birmingham, Charlotte. Geography doesn't concern me. You never contact Elena again. Never speak her name, never think about her. Do this, you live. Option 2, you refuse. Then this conversation becomes very different, very unpleasant. Not for me, I'll sleep fine either way. But you? The Chattahoochee River runs deep and cold this time of year. Garrett's desperation manifested as bargaining. If I leave, what about my stuff? My car? Your Dodge Charger will be sold. Proceeds go to Elena as restitution for 2 years of abuse. Your belongings get donated to Goodwill. You start over with nothing because you deserve nothing. That's bullshit. You can't just... Lucas stepped forward. The movement ended Garrett's objection more effectively than words. Boss is being generous. You want option 2? Because I'm happy to demonstrate why that's a poor choice. Garrett's bladder threatened mutiny. Fear had a smell. The meatpacking plant had processed that particular scent for decades. No, I'll go. I'll leave. Smart, but understand something. You're not just leaving Atlanta. You're on probation with me. If I hear you hurt another woman, anywhere, anytime, you won't get option 1 again. Dominic leaned close enough for Garrett to smell expensive cologne and expensive consequences. I'll find you, and you'll disappear. Clear? Crystal. 2:47 a.m. at the Greyhound station. Lucas purchased a one-way ticket to Jacksonville, Florida. $87. Random destination. Sufficient distance. He handed Garrett $200 in cash. Get started. Don't come back. Garrett took the money with shaking hands, boarded the 3:15 bus, watched Atlanta's skyline shrink through grimy windows, touched his unbroken face with something approaching gratitude. Dominic Salvatore could have done worse, much worse. Garrett understood exactly how lucky he'd been to walk away breathing. The bus pulled onto I-95 South. Behind him, the city that had been his hunting ground faded into memory. Ahead, Jacksonville promised nothing except the chance to survive his own stupidity. Lucas texted Dominic from the station parking lot. Package delivered. Handled. The response came immediately. Good. Meet me at hotel. Prep for morning meeting. 1 week dissolved into Elena's new reality with the speed of a controlled burn. Russo Development Corporation occupied floors 20 through 24 of a midtown high-rise. Her office on 22 included a window view, functioning computer, business cards with her name printed in raised letters. The normalcy felt surreal. Harrison Waverly ran the acquisitions department with MBA precision and zero knowledge of Elena's connection to the company's owner. 47 years old, Emory graduate, believed merit mattered more than politics. He explained Elena's role during her first morning orientation. You'll research potential properties for development, market analysis, zoning regulations, demographic trends. The West Midtown project on your desk right now represents a $50 million investment. Think you can handle it? Yes, sir. The work proved legitimate, not busy work, not charity disguised as employment. She spent 40 hours that first week buried in property records and census data and city planning documents. Found herself enjoying the intellectual challenge. Nursing school had taught her research methodology. This applied those same skills to real estate instead of anatomy. Amanda Pierce occupied the desk adjacent to Elena's. 32 years old, senior analyst. Genuinely friendly in ways that couldn't be faked. Elena, lunch? Great Thai place around the corner. Normal coworkers, normal conversations. Nobody treated her like the boss's charity case because nobody knew. The anonymity felt like freedom. Friday of that first week, Elena discovered something Harrison had missed, a zoning loophole in the West Midtown project. The property qualified for mixed-use development despite being listed as residential only. The distinction saved 3 months of rezoning applications and approximately $200,000 in legal fees. Harrison studied her findings with increasing interest. Hartley, this is excellent work. Where'd you learn to read zoning codes this carefully? Nursing school taught me how to read medical charts. Same principle. Find what's actually written versus what people assume is written. Well, it just saved us significant time and money. I'm copying Waverly on this. The praise landed strangely. Elena had spent 2 years being told she was worthless, stupid, incompetent. Garrett's voice still echoed in her skull, insisting she'd never amount to anything without him. Turns out, Garrett was wrong about most things. Friday evening, 8 p.m. Her phone buzzed with a text from Dominic. Dinner? Real education begins tonight. Address below. Dress casual. The address led to a Buckhead estate behind gates that suggested serious security and serious money. Elena's Uber driver whistled low when the GPS announced their arrival. Whoever you're seeing lives well. He's my boss. Some boss. The gates opened automatically. The driveway curved through landscaped grounds. The house itself managed to look expensive without being ostentatious. Old money aesthetic. 7 generations of Salvatores had learned subtlety. Bex answered the door. Ms. Hartley? Boss is in the study. Follow me. The interior confirmed Elena's suspicions about Dominic's wealth. Original art hung on walls, maybe Monet, possibly legitimate. Antique furniture that belonged in museums. Family photographs spanning generations. The Salvatore lineage documented in silver frames. The study contained floor-to-ceiling books with cracked spines proving they'd been read. Gas fireplace burning despite Atlanta's mild spring. Leather chairs worn comfortable. Scotch decanter on the side table. Dominic wore jeans and a Henley shirt, barefoot. The casual clothing humanized him in ways the Tom Ford suits never could. He poured Pellegrino for Elena without asking, remembered she didn't drink alcohol. Small details that suggested attention. You chose option 2. That means you're in my world now. Peripherally, but still present. So I'm going to teach you how to survive it. Lesson 1. Never show fear. Everyone feels fear. Biology demands it. But in my world, predators smell fear like sharks smell blood. Your face stays calm. Your voice stays steady. Your hands don't shake. Elena's hands trembled slightly holding the glass. But I do get scared. I know. Fear and showing fear are different things. Practice in the mirror. Fake composure until it becomes real. Fake it long enough, it stops being fake. Lesson 2. Read people, not words. Most humans lie. Not maliciously, socially. Fine, no problem. I'll handle it. Words cost nothing. Body language reveals truth. Watch eyes. Watch hands. Watch feet. The body betrays what the mouth conceals. He leaned forward, studying her. Right now, you're sitting with knees together, hands in lap, shoulders slightly curved inward. Know what that tells me? Elena shook her head. You feel vulnerable, out of your depth. But you're here anyway, which means you're braver than you believe. That's useful information about character. She consciously straightened her spine, uncrossed her legs, met his eyes. Better. Lesson 3. Loyalty is currency. In the legitimate world, money talks. In my world, loyalty talks louder. People who prove loyal get protected, get opportunities, get wealthy. People who betray... He paused. Let the silence complete the sentence. How do you know who's loyal? Test them. Small things initially. See if they follow through. Build trust slowly over time. Are you testing me? Every day, and so far you're passing. They ate dinner at the kitchen table. Nothing formal. Homemade pasta from his grandmother's recipe, learned during childhood summers. The domesticity jarred against his criminal empire status. Elena discovered Dominic could cook, could discuss movies and books with genuine enthusiasm, could be human when the business mask came off. They both loved old westerns. Both read mystery novels. Both found comfort in stories where good and evil drew clear lines that reality never provided. 10:34 p.m. Elena prepared to leave, called for an Uber. Thank you for tonight. You're welcome. Same time next Friday? The lessons? If you want them. I do. Dominic walked her to the door. Elena, one more thing. Yes? You're doing better than you think. Trust yourself. The Uber arrived. Elena settled into the back seat. Her phone buzzed halfway home. Unknown number. Text message with a screenshot attachment. Tell your boss Garrett's not done. We're coming for him. And you. SW. The attached image showed Garrett in Jacksonville, beaten bloody, holding today's newspaper. Proof of life. proof of threat. S.W. Silas Whitmore. Elena's hands shook despite lesson 1. She texted Dominic immediately. He called 30 seconds later, bypassing text for the urgency of voice. Don't go home. Turn around. Return to the Whitley Hotel. Same suite as before. Bex is en route. What's happening? Silas Whitmore made a move. We'll handle it. But you need somewhere secure. Who's? Later. Hotel. Now. The Uber driver agreed to reverse course for an extra $40. Elena arrived at the Whitley to find Bex waiting in the lobby, armed, alert, all business. Upstairs. Boss wants you safe while we sort this out. 11:08 p.m. Salvatore Estate basement. The war room bore no resemblance to the elegant study upstairs. Soundproofed walls, multiple monitors, secure communications equipment. This was where real business happened, insulated from aesthetic concerns. Lucas, Bex, Jackson, and Preston Hawthorne gathered around the conference table. Preston's Harvard MBA and accounting expertise made him invaluable for managing money that couldn't appear on legitimate ledgers. 48 years old, conservative suits, the kind of man who could discuss tax shelters and body disposal with equal competence. Whitmore's text and photo filled the main screen. Lucas provided background. Silas Whitmore, 38, runs meth distribution targeting college students and high schools. 3 strip clubs fronting for prostitution, non-consensual trafficking variety. Suspected in 4 missing women cases, bodies never recovered. Not part of our organization, not part of Rutherford's organization either. Malcolm Rutherford runs old-school operations. Has rules. Whitmore's independent. No code. Dangerous. Bex analyzed the photo. Whitmore found Garrett in Jacksonville. Not difficult. Garrett's an idiot who used his real ID at a motel. Whitmore's held him approximately 8 hours based on visible bruising progression. The text to Elena is psychological warfare. He's threatening her to hurt you, boss. Dominic studied the screen with the intensity of a chess master examining an opponent's gambit. Why target me? I haven't interfered with his operations. Preston pulled up financial records. 3 months ago, Russo Development purchased the building complex where Whitmore operated his primary lab. You evicted all tenants for renovation. Standard procedure. Whitmore lost approximately $400,000 in product and equipment during emergency relocation. He blames you. The purchase had been legitimate business. Dominic hadn't known about Whitmore's operation. Didn't matter. Whitmore saw opportunity. Hurt Elena, hurt Dominic. Appear strong to other crews considering territorial expansion. Jackson's solution was characteristically direct. Let me handle Whitmore. Tonight. Clean. No, boss, if we don't respond, we respond, but smart, not emotional. Dominic turned to Lucas. Where is Whitmore now? His club, the Velvet Room on Metropolitan. Friday nights he collects from the girls. Then we arrange a meeting. Tomorrow night, neutral ground, Whitmore and me. We negotiate terms. Lucas recognized the trap being set. You know he'll try to kill you. I'm counting on it, which is why you'll all be there, hidden, armed. He makes a move, we end it. What about Elena? Round-the-clock protection. Bex plus 2 rotating shifts. And Garrett? Leverage until this resolves. After that, he goes to legitimate authorities. Kate's kidnapping, when that happens, gives us probable cause to involve real police. Wait, Lucas caught the phrasing. When Kate's kidnapping happens? Dominic's expression hardened. Whitmore will escalate. It's what men like him do. He'll go after someone close to Elena as leverage. Kate Morrison is the obvious target. Geography teacher, predictable schedule, lives alone. Easy prey. We prepare for that probability. Saturday morning, Elena woke in the hotel suite to 3 missed calls from Kate and a text string demanding explanations. Where are you? You said you'd call back Tuesday. Elena, seriously, I'm worried. If I don't hear from you by noon, I'm calling police. Elena stared at the messages. Couldn't tell Kate the truth. Couldn't keep lying effectively. The witness protection story was wearing thin. she called. Kate answered on the first ring. Finally! Where the hell have you been? I'm sorry, things got complicated. Complicated how? Are you okay? You sound weird. I'm fine, just dealing with some stuff. What kind of stuff? Elena, you're scaring me. Can we meet for coffee? I need to tell you something in person. They agreed on Sunday morning. Common Grounds Cafe. Public enough for safety, quiet enough for conversation. Elena hung up, feeling the weight of secrets she couldn't share and truths she couldn't hide much longer. Sunday, 9:17 a.m. Kate Morrison arrived first, 29 years old, 4th grade teacher. Elena's friend since sophomore year, when they'd bonded over shared hatred of chemistry class. She'd watched Elena shrink under Garrett's influence, tried intervention twice, been rebuffed both times because abused women protect their abusers until they can't anymore. Elena walked in at 9:23, wearing sunglasses that hid nothing. The purple cast made lying difficult. Kate's face cycled through shock, horror, fury. Oh my God. What did he do? The story came out in fragments, edited version. Arm broken, cat killed, Garrett gone. Omitted the part about texting a mafia boss by accident. Claimed she'd found a women's shelter with resources. Kate's hands trembled around her latte. Why didn't you call me? I would have helped. You know I would have helped. I know, but I needed to handle it myself. By finding a shelter? They've been amazing. Got me set up with new apartment, new job, everything. Kate's teacher instincts detected holes in the narrative. What kind of shelter has those resources? Well-funded one? Elena, what aren't you telling me? Before Elena could navigate that minefield, her phone buzzed. Dominic. She let it go to voicemail. Kate noticed. Who was that? Nobody important. Liar, you checked the screen fast. That's not nobody. It's complicated. Everything with you lately is complicated. The barista called out another order. Background noise covered their silence. Kate broke first. Are you in trouble? Opposite of trouble, actually. I'm safer than I've been in 2 years. That's not an answer. It's the answer I can give right now. But Kate, I promise, I'm okay. Better than okay. Kate studied her friend's face, saw truth in the conviction even if the details remained murky. Fine, but I'm checking on you weekly. And if this mysterious shelter turns out to be some weird cult or sex trafficking thing, I'm calling FBI. Deal. They finished coffee, hugged goodbye. Elena watched Kate walk to her car, unaware that 2 of Bex's security team watched from separate vehicles. Protection without Kate's knowledge. Necessary, but invasive. Monday morning, Russo Development functioned with the rhythm of legitimate business. Elena buried herself in property analysis, found 3 more zoning advantages on different projects. Harrison began assigning her increasingly complex work. The competence felt foreign after years of being told she had none. Monday evening, 6:47 p.m. Elena's apartment doorbell rang. Not the hotel. Dominic had arranged a permanent 1-bedroom in Virginia Highland. Safe neighborhood, doorman, security cameras. She paid $600 monthly. Russo Development subsidized the remaining $1,200 as employee benefit. Completely legitimate on paper. She opened the door to find Dominic holding takeout bags. Thought you might be tired of eating alone. The presumption should have annoyed her. Instead, she stepped aside, let him enter. He unpacked Thai food from the place Amanda had recommended. Green curry, pad Thai, spring rolls. More food than 2 people needed, but exactly the right amount to feel generous rather than wasteful. They ate on her small balcony overlooking the street, watched Atlanta's evening traffic, discussed nothing important and everything that mattered. Movies they'd watched, books they'd read, childhoods that shaped them into who they'd become. Dominic's father had been hard but fair. Taught him the family business starting at age 12, demanded excellence, delivered consequences for failure. Died of cirrhosis 2 years after Isabella's murder. Some men drowned grief in whiskey. Domenico Salvatore Sr. had been drowning since his wife's death when Dominic was 8. Isabella's death pushed him under permanently. Elena's mother had been her whole world. Single parent who worked 2 jobs to keep them housed and fed. Ovarian cancer took her slowly, over 18 months. Elena dropped out of nursing school 3rd year to provide hospice care, used what little money remained for funeral expenses, picked up waitressing to survive. Met Garrett 6 months later, when she was vulnerable and lonely and desperate for someone to care. Neither of them said the obvious. They'd both lost people they loved and filled the emptiness with different poisons. Dominic chose work and walls. Elena chose a man who hurt her. 10:34 p.m. Dominic prepared to leave. Elena walked him to the door. The proximity felt charged with possibility, neither acknowledged aloud. "Thank you for dinner." "Anytime." At the threshold, Dominic paused. "Tomorrow night, the meeting with Whitmore. I want you there." "Absolutely not. Hear me out. You'll be in the vehicle with Bex, surrounded by security. But you deserve to see how this ends. You started this by texting me. You should witness the conclusion." Elena considered. Should refuse. Should stay safe and distant. Should let men handle men's business. Fine. But I stay in the car. Deal. Tuesday crawled past with bureaucratic tedium. Wednesday felt like running through water. Thursday morning, Elena woke to nausea that had nothing to do with physical illness and everything to do with knowing tonight she'd see Dominic's world fully exposed. 6 p.m. Bex picked her up in the Mercedes. 3 other vehicles formed their convoy. Lucas drove lead, Jackson took rear guard. 2 SUVs bracketed them with additional security. The abandoned textile mill occupied South Atlanta industrial wasteland, perfect neutral ground, no civilians, multiple exits, open sightlines for snipers. Dominic had chosen well. They arrived at 11:43 p.m., 17 minutes before midnight. Dominic exited his vehicle with Jackson visible at his shoulder. Preston Hawthorne accompanied them. Unexpected choice. The accountant looked wrong in tactical vest. Silas Whitmore waited 40 feet away. 6'1", prison tattoos, methamphetamine teeth, dead eyes that had seen violence and felt nothing about it. 7 armed men flanked him in formation, suggesting military training somewhere in their backgrounds. Behind Whitmore, a white van sat with rear doors open. Garrett huddled inside, barely recognizable under layers of bruising. Elena watched from the Mercedes back seat. Bex handed her night vision binoculars. "Stay low, stay quiet. This gets ugly. We leave fast." Dominic's voice carried across the distance. "Silas, you wanted conversation? Here I am." Whitmore's southern accent revealed Alabama roots. "Where's the girl?" "What girl?" "Don't play stupid. Elena Hartley. That's the trade. Her for your friend Garrett here." "Garrett isn't my friend. He's a woman beater I removed from my city. Why would I trade anything for him?" Whitmore's confusion showed he'd badly miscalculated. "You sent him to Jacksonville. You protected him." "I exiled him. Different thing entirely." "Then what about the teacher, Kate Morrison?" Dominic's slight smile conveyed satisfaction. "Safe. Your men at the farm are currently in custody. Fayette County Sheriff is processing them." Lie, they were in Salvatore holding, but Whitmore couldn't verify. Realization crossed Whitmore's face. He'd been outplayed while setting his trap. Preston stepped forward with tablet in hand. "Mr. Whitmore, let me explain your situation mathematically. You have 7 men. Mr. Salvatore has 14 positioned around this location. Rooftops, shipping containers, tree line behind you. Thermal imaging confirms it." He showed the screen. Red signatures surrounded the mill. "You fire 1 shot, you're dead in 1.3 seconds. All of you." Whitmore's desperation manifested as bluster. "You think you can just walk into my business? Fuck with my operations?" "I didn't know it was your operation when I bought that building. Legitimate real estate transaction. You chose escalation by threatening Elena. So here's what happens next." Dominic laid out options with the precision of contract negotiation. Option 1. Leave Atlanta permanently. Option 2. War that Whitmore would lose. Option 3. Work for Salvatore, running legitimate pharmaceutical distribution. Salary, benefits, protection. The terms were generous, considering Whitmore had kidnapped Garrett and threatened murder. Whitmore calculated odds, looked at his 7 men, looked at thermal imaging showing he was surrounded, looked at his future narrowing to single path forward. Option 3. I'll work for you. Smart. Then Garrett shouted from the van, desperate and stupid. Silas, don't trust him. He'll kill you anyway. Kill him now. One of Whitmore's men, young, nervous, name badge reading Derek, panicked, fired his shotgun wildly. Everything exploded. Derek's blast missed Dominic by 4 inches, hit a shipping container. Jackson returned fire, controlled burst to Derek's shoulder. 2 of Whitmore's men raised weapons. Lucas's sniper position, pre-established on the mill roof, eliminated them with leg shots. Preston dove behind the Escalade. Dominic pulled his ankle pistol, fired once into dirt as warning. His voice cut through chaos like a blade through silk. Stop! Everyone stop! The command carried authority that made armed men freeze mid-action. Whitmore's remaining crew looked to him for guidance. He raised hands in surrender. We're done! Cease fire! Weapons down! Now! They complied. Derek bled from his shoulder. 2 others couldn't stand on shot legs. The remaining 4 looked terrified. Dominic approached Whitmore with Jackson covering. You have 3 seconds to control your people, or option 3 disappears. They're controlled, I swear. Good, then we have a deal. Preston already had his phone out. Dr. Walsh, 3 gunshot wounds, non-fatal. Yes, the mill. 15 minutes. The doctor who treated Elena would handle Whitmore's wounded. No hospitals, no police reports. The Salvatore ecosystem operated with surgical efficiency. Garrett was dragged from the van by Jackson, tried threats about telling police everything. Dominic knelt to his level. Tell them what? That you beat your girlfriend, killed her cat, got kidnapped by Silas Whitmore? They'll prosecute you, not me. You're done. Prison for 10 to 15 years minimum. And every day you're there, remember, you did this to yourself. 12:34 a.m. Lucas arrived with Elena and Bex. Elena exited the Mercedes against Bex's advice. Needed to see with her own eyes. The scene resembled war zones from news footage. Men bleeding on concrete. Garrett zip-tied and broken. Dominic holding a weapon she'd never seen him carry. The reality of his world crashed into her like cold water. Not abstract anymore. Not stories over Thai food. Blood. Violence. Her world now if she stayed. Dominic saw her expression. You shouldn't be here. I needed to see it. All of it. She walked to Garrett, looked down at the man who'd broken her arm and killed her cat and terrorized her for 2 years. He looked up with something resembling hope. Elena, baby, please. Tell them I didn't mean. You broke my arm, killed Ginger, terrorized me for 2 years, and now you're going to prison where you belong. She leaned close enough he could smell her shampoo. And I'm going to be fine. Better than fine. Because I'm everything you tried to destroy and couldn't. Walked away without looking back. The finality of it settled into her bones like truth. Dominic gave Lucas instructions. Take Garrett to police via anonymous tip. Leave him zip-tied at a gas station. Let legitimate authorities handle prosecution for Kate's kidnapping, which would happen as Dominic predicted, making the frame preemptive justice. To Whitmore. Be at Russo Development 9 a.m. Monday. Preston will have paperwork. You start clean, you stay clean. Yes, sir. To Elena. Let's go home. 1:47 a.m. Salvatore Estate Kitchen. Dominic brewed chamomile tea using his grandmother's remedy for shock. Elena sat at the farmhouse table watching him move through the space with domestic competence that contradicted everything she'd witnessed 2 hours earlier. The man who'd orchestrated a standoff with loaded weapons now measured honey into ceramic mugs with the precision of someone who cared about getting small things right. Steam rose between them like questions neither wanted to ask. Elena broke the silence because someone had to. You could have killed them all. Yes. Why didn't you? Because death is easy. Consequences are harder. Whitmore alive and working for me gives me leverage, control. Dead, he's just a problem that creates more problems. And Garrett? Goes to prison through legitimate system. Kate will testify when the kidnapping happens. Evidence is clear. Justice, not revenge. You're splitting hairs. No, I'm being precise. In my world, precision keeps people alive. The tea steeped. Clock above the sink ticked seconds into history. Elena's hands wrapped around the mug for warmth that had nothing to do with temperature. I don't know if I can do this. Dominic set down his cup with careful deliberation. Do what? This, your world. Tonight I saw men bleed, heard gunfire. Could have died if that shotgun blast was 6 inches left instead of missing. I know. And the scary part? I'm not as horrified as I should be. The admission hung between them like confession. Dominic studied her face the way he'd study a contract before signing, looking for clauses, escape routes, fine print that changed meaning. You're in shock. Tomorrow you'll feel it more. That's normal. Is it normal that part of me felt alive? When I told Garrett off, when I walked away, I felt powerful. Is that wrong? Elena, you survived abuse for 2 years, built a new life in 3 months, helped rescue your best friend tonight. Feeling powerful isn't wrong, it's earned. But enjoying violence? Did you enjoy the violence, or did you enjoy not being a victim anymore? The distinction landed like revelation. Elena considered the question honestly, examined her emotions under the harsh light of self-awareness. The second one. Then you're fine. There's a difference between enjoying power over your own life and enjoying hurting others. You haven't crossed that line. How do you know? Because when you saw Garrett bleeding, you didn't smile. You walked away. That's strength, not sadism. Elena's tea had gone lukewarm. She drank it anyway. Needed something to do with her hands while processing information that should have sent her running. Do you ever enjoy it? The violence? Dominic's pause suggested he was choosing words carefully, rare for him to hesitate. Sometimes. When it's someone like Garrett who hurts someone I care about. Yes, part of me enjoys making them understand consequences. But I control it. Don't let it control me. That's the difference between me and men like Garrett or Whitmore. You keep saying you care about me. I do. But you won't say love. Because love in my world is dangerous. Isabella died because of love. Because the Morellis knew hurting her would hurt me. If I love you, you become a target. I already am a target. Whitmore proved that. Which is why I'm giving you a choice again. Elena's exhaustion made everything feel distant, hypothetical. She forced focus. What choice? Stay or go? If you stay, you're in this fully. You'll see more nights like tonight. You'll be in danger sometimes. You'll have to make hard choices. If you go, I'll give you option 1 from 3 months ago. New city, new life, 50,000 to start. Clean break. But once you're fully in, you can't unknow what you know. Can't unsee what you've seen. There's no going back to waitressing and pretending. And if I stay, what am I to you? Whatever you want to be. Partner in business, friend. More than that, if you... He stopped himself, self-editing in real time. If I what? If you can accept what I am. Not just the money and protection, but the violence, the moral gray areas, the choices I make that aren't always clean. Elena stood, walked to the window overlooking estate grounds lit by security lighting. Thought about Garrett's face when she'd walked away. Kate alive because Elena chose to act. The feeling of being powerful instead of powerless. Dominic's brutal honesty about what staying meant. 3 months ago, I texted a wrong number because I had no one else. Tonight, I helped rescue my best friend with a mafia crew. That's insane! Yes, and I don't want to go back. You're sure? No, but I'm sure I'd rather face danger with choice than safety in a cage. Garrett was a cage. Your world is freedom with consequences. I can live with consequences. Dominic stood, approached with the caution of someone who'd learned the price of assumption. Then you should know, I've been holding back. From what? From this. The kiss eliminated distance, not gentle, not asking permission, but not forceful either. Elena could pull away if she wanted. She didn't want. Kissed back with 2 years of pent-up hunger for touch that didn't hurt, for desire that didn't demand submission, for connection that felt like choice instead of surrender. They pulled apart, breathing like survivors of drowning. Dominic's control had cracks showing. Elena discovered she liked seeing them. How long have you wanted to do that? Since the night I met you. Liar, you didn't even know me. I knew enough. This is a terrible idea. Probably. You're a criminal. Technically. I'm your employee. Also true. And I look like your dead wife. Dominic's expression shifted, serious now beneath the attraction. You look like her. You're nothing like her. And I need you to understand, what I feel isn't about her, it's about you. Can you believe that? Elena searched his face for deception, found only complicated truth. I'm trying to. That's enough for now. 2:34 a.m. Dominic showed her to a guest room upstairs. Second door. Bex was staying too for security. Professional distance reimposed after the kitchen had dissolved it. You should sleep. Tomorrow we handle the aftermath. Where will you be? Office, paperwork from tonight, police reports to monitor, Whitmore's integration to plan. You don't sleep? Not much. Hazard of the job. Elena stood at the guest room threshold. Didn't want to sleep alone, but wasn't ready to ask otherwise. Dominic? Yes? Thank you. For Kate. For everything. You're welcome. 3:12 a.m. Dominic's office phone rang. Unknown number. He answered with the caution of someone who knew midnight calls rarely brought good news. Yes? The voice was distorted, digital modulation, professional paranoia. Dominic Salvatore. Impressive work tonight with Whitmore, but you've made noise, attracted attention. Who is this? Someone who remembers Isabella. Someone who knows you're vulnerable again. That girl, Elena, she's made you soft. If you touch her, I won't have to. You will, just like you killed Isabella. The line went dead. Dominic stared at the receiver like it might explain itself, pulled up old files on his computer. Morelli family, Philadelphia, Isabella's murderers. The truce had been signed 5 years ago, blood debt paid, agreement honored. But if they were moving again, if someone in their organization saw opportunity in Elena's presence, the mathematics changed. Dominic had lost one woman to his world, wouldn't survive losing another. 6 months dissolved into Elena's new normal. September heat gave way to October cool. Her office on 22 gained a window upgrade after the West Midtown success. Senior Acquisitions Manager. The promotion came with salary increase and Harrison Waverly's grudging respect. She presented quarterly findings to shareholders on a Thursday, spoke for 47 minutes about market trends and demographic shifts, answered questions with confidence that felt borrowed from someone else's life. The board approved her recommendations unanimously. Harrison approached after. That was exceptional work, Elena. You've got a real future here. Thank you. I mean it. You're the best analyst I've had in a decade. The praise landed differently now. Elena had rebuilt her self-worth from rubble, could accept compliments without waiting for the backhanded criticism Garrett would have added. Sunday dinners at the estate became tradition. Elena, Dominic, Lucas, Bex, Jackson, Preston. Family meals where business mixed with personal. Dominic cooked, grandmother's recipes passed down through generations. The domesticity of a mafia boss making Sunday gravy felt surreal until it didn't. Bex asked about baseball. Elena mentioned Kate's teaching conference. Lucas updated everyone on Whitmore's integration, surprisingly successful. The man had organizational skills when motivated by survival. Kate Morrison's relationship with Elena's new reality evolved slowly. After the kidnapping that Dominic had predicted with unsettling accuracy, Kate got therapy, a concealed carry permit, and grudging acceptance that her best friend had chosen a dangerous path. She knew about Dominic now, knew what he did, didn't love it, but loved Elena more. Bex taught Elena advanced self-defense twice weekly. The progress showed. Escapes from rear grabs became second nature. Palm strikes to vulnerable targets felt automatic. Elena wasn't freezing anymore when threat materialized. The shooting range became date activity. Weird, but they're normal. Elena's accuracy improved to 15 of 20 shots center mass at 15 yards. Dominic watched her with something approaching pride. You're a natural. I have a good teacher. October 15th, family meeting at the estate, monthly financial review. Legitimate business conducted by people who knew where bodies were buried. Sometimes literally. Angelo Salvatore attended, Dominic's cousin, 34. VP of Operations. Resentful since Elena's arrival. He'd apologized months ago for initial disrespect. The apology felt hollow as campaign promises. Preston presented quarterly numbers. Russo development up 12% year over year. New analyst, nod to Elena, had found multiple cost savings across projects. Angel's contempt leaked through professional veneer. Impressive how the former waitress keeps finding things our entire team missed. The room temperature dropped 10 degrees, tension crystallized like frost. Dominic's voice carried warning. Elena's title is Senior Acquisitions Manager. Use it. Right, sorry, just seems convenient timing. She shows up, suddenly she's in family meetings, sitting where Isabella used to sit. Silence detonated. Lucas's hand moved toward concealed weapon. Disrespect to Isabella crossed lines that ended careers. Or lives. Dominic stood with deliberate slowness. Outside. Now. The hallway conversation was conducted in tones too low for eavesdropping, but body language told the story. Dominic leaning in. Angelo backing up. Apologies that came too late to matter. Inside the conference room, Elena processed what Angelo had revealed. She looked like Isabella, sat in Isabella's chair, had appeared in Dominic's life with suspicious timing. Bex showed her phone. Photo of Isabella at a charity gala, 2018. Blonde, where Elena was brunette, but the bone structure, the height, the build. Uncanny similarities that couldn't be coincidence. Does Dominic... is that why he... Bex chose words carefully. I don't know, maybe subconsciously, but I've seen how he looks at you. It's not like he looked at Isabella. It's different. Different how? Like he's seen you, not her ghost. Elena's phone buzzed. Unknown number. Text with photo attachment. Ask Dominic if you're replacement or revenge. He's using you. A friend. The attached image showed Isabella and Elena side by side. Red circles highlighted similarities. Nose, jawline, eyes. Whoever sent this wanted her to doubt, to question, to run. She showed Bex the text. Bex traced the number through methods Elena didn't ask about. Burner phone. Purchased cash 3 days ago. Dead end. That evening, Elena's apartment. Doorbell at 6:47. Dominic with takeout. Thai food again. Attempting normalcy that felt strained under the weight of unasked questions. They ate on her balcony, discussed nothing important. Everything that mattered remained unspoken until Elena couldn't carry the weight anymore. I got a text today, showed him the photo comparison. Watched his face for reaction. He examined it with professional detachment that felt like armor. Who sent this? I don't know. Someone who wants me to think you're using me. He traced the number, called Lucas, got the same dead-end answer, hung up and met Elena's eyes. You do look like Isabella. I noticed immediately. That night I got your text, when I pulled your DMV photo, I saw it. Elena's stomach dropped. Confirmation hurt worse than speculation. So that's why you helped me. No, that's why I noticed. There's a difference. I don't see one. Dominic sat across from her, honesty in his expression that looked like pain. When Isabella died, I shut down. Didn't date. Didn't let anyone close. Told myself it was because my world is dangerous, which is true. But really, I was afraid of losing someone again. Then you texted me. And yes, the resemblance made me look twice. Made it easier to care, maybe. But Elena... He leaned forward, intensity in his eyes that demanded she believe him. You're nothing like Isabella where it matters. She was gentle, sheltered, needed protecting. You survived Garrett for 2 years, asked for help when you needed it. You're learning my world instead of running. You're strong. I don't love you because you look like her. I care about you because you're everything she wasn't. Everything I need. The word hung between them like confession. You love me? Dominic paused. Hadn't meant to say it. Couldn't take it back. I care about you. Deeply. More than I intended to. When did you intend to care? I didn't. That's the problem. Elena's anger rose like floodwater. So what am I? A project? Redemption for not saving Isabella? You get to be hero this time? No. Then what? I don't know. I didn't plan this. I helped you because it was right. You stayed because you're capable. And now I don't know where the line is anymore between mentor and something else. But I know this. I look at you and I see you. Not her. You. Elena stood, paced her small balcony, processed information that felt like betrayal and truth simultaneously. I need space. To think. Understandable. And I need to know. If I didn't look like her, would you have helped me? Dominic's pause was answer enough, but he gave words anyway. I'd like to think yes, but I don't know. Maybe the resemblance made me pay attention where I wouldn't have. I can't change that. I can only tell you. What I feel now isn't about her. But if you can't believe that, I understand. He stood to leave, stopped at the threshold without turning back. I'm going to Philadelphia next week. Meeting with the Morellis. Old business about Isabella that needs settling. When I get back, if you're still here, we'll talk. Really talk. If you're gone, I'll understand that too. The door closed behind him. Elena stood alone on her balcony watching Atlanta's lights blur through tears she hadn't realized were falling. Her phone buzzed. Kate. Coffee tomorrow? Need to talk. Elena typed back, yes, need that too. Sunday morning, Common Grounds Cafe. Kate arrived with the kind of expression teachers use when delivering hard truths to students who don't want to hear them. You're in love with him. Not a question, statement of fact. Elena stirred her coffee. Didn't deny it. I don't know what I am. Confused, scared, angry that I might be a replacement for his dead wife. Kate reached across the table, took Elena's hand. You're not a replacement. You're you. And maybe you look like her, but from what you've told me about Isabella, you're nothing alike where it counts. That's what he said. Then maybe believe him. Look, I hate that he's a criminal. Hate that you're in danger. Hate that I got kidnapped because of this whole mess. But, Elena, Kate's voice softened, I haven't seen you this alive in years. Not since before Garrett. Maybe not since before your mom died. Whatever Dominic is, whatever his world looks like, you're thriving in it. That matters. What if he only noticed me because I look like her? Then he's an idiot who got lucky. Because he's getting you, and you're better than any ghost. Elena laughed despite everything. Kate had that effect. Cut through complications with teacher-grade honesty. He's going to Philadelphia to meet with the people who killed Isabella. When? Friday. Are you going with him? He didn't ask. But you want to. Elena met her friend's eyes, saw understanding there that came from a decade of friendship. Yeah, I do. Then go. And Elena, if he hurts you, I really will kill him. I've got a Glock now, and I'm a decent shot. Friday morning. Elena showed up at the Salvatore estate at 6 a.m. Bex answered the door, surprised. Boss is in the kitchen, packing. Elena found Dominic filling a travel bag with the methodical efficiency of someone who'd done this many times. He looked up. Shock flickered across his face before control reasserted itself. "You're still here. I'm still here. And I'm coming with you, Elena." "Don't. Don't tell me it's dangerous. Don't tell me I should stay safe. You said when you got back we'd talk. But I think we should talk now, on the way." "This isn't a negotiation." "No, it's me making a choice. You gave me choices from the beginning. I'm choosing this." Dominic studied her face, saw determination that matched his own. "Bex, we'll need another seat on the plane. The private jet left Hartsfield-Jackson at 9 a.m. Elena had never flown private. The leather seats, the full bar, the space. It felt like entering a different world, which she had, months ago, still adjusting to the altitude. During the flight, Dominic explained. The Morellis had requested a meeting, neutral ground, discussion about territorial boundaries. Could be legitimate business, could be trap. He was bringing Lucas, Jackson, and 4 others. Security protocol. And now me. And now you. Against my better judgment. Why did you agree? Because you were right. You deserve to make your own choices. Even bad ones. Gee, thanks. Besides, watching you tell off Garrett taught me something. You're tougher than I give you credit for. Tougher than you give yourself credit for. The meeting took place at a restaurant in Philadelphia's Italian market. Neutral ground. Public enough to discourage violence. Private room upstairs for actual conversation. Victor Morelli sat at the head of the table. 62. Gray hair, gravelly voice. Power that crossed state lines. 3 of his men flanked him. Not as many as Elena expected. Maybe that was the point. Show of good faith. Dominic brought Lucas, left the others downstairs. Brought Elena. Victor's eyes lingered on her. Recognition flickered. She looks like... I know. Victor's expression shifted. Understanding dawned. So that's why you're here. To tell me, hands off. To tell you the truce holds. What happened to Isabella was business. Old business. Settled business. Elena isn't part of that world. Victor leaned back, studied Elena with interest that made her skin crawl. She's here, sitting at this table. That makes her part of it. She's here because I asked to be. Elena's voice carried more confidence than she felt. Victor's attention focused on her fully. And who are you to ask anything? Someone who's tired of being protected like I'm fragile. Someone who survived worse than you without a criminal empire backing me up. Victor laughed. Genuine amusement. She's got spine. I like that. All right, Dominic, I'll be clear. We have no interest in the girl. No interest in restarting old conflicts. Atlanta's yours, Philadelphia's mine. We respect borders. Then why the meeting? Because someone's been making noise, sending texts, threats, using my name without permission. Victor pulled out his phone, showed messages, threats to Elena, to Dominic, all claiming to be from Morelli organization. We didn't send these. Someone wants us at war again. Any idea who? Victor's expression darkened. I have suspicions, but until I have proof, I'm telling you, it's not us. Watch your back. Someone close to you is playing both sides. The flight back to Atlanta felt different. Elena sat close to Dominic. They didn't talk about Philadelphia, about Victor's warning, about the fact that someone in Dominic's organization might be the traitor. Instead, they talked about Isabella. Really talked. Dominic showed photos on his phone, told stories. The woman who'd loved botanical gardens and terrible romantic comedies, who'd cried during dog food commercials, who'd been soft in all the ways Elena wasn't. She was everything good about the world I don't deserve. Past tense, not present, not replacement. And what am I? Everything I need to survive in the world I have. The distinction felt important. Elena was learning the language of Dominic's carefully chosen words. I love you. She said it first. Couldn't not say it anymore. Dominic's hand found hers. I know. I've known since you walked into my estate at 6 a.m. demanding to come to Philadelphia. Why didn't you say it? Because I needed you to say it first. Needed to know you felt it without me pushing. And now? Now I can say it back. I love you, Elena Hartley. Not because you look like someone I lost, but because you're someone I found. They kissed somewhere over Virginia. The pilot politely ignored them. Back in Atlanta, the investigation began. Who was sending threats using Morelli's name? Who wanted Dominic and Victor at war? The answer came from an unexpected source. Preston Hawthorne appeared at the estate Sunday evening, looked uncomfortable, held financial records. Boss, we have a problem. Angelo's been moving money. Large amounts. Through shell companies to Philadelphia. Same companies that were used 5 years ago to pay for Isabella's... He didn't finish. Didn't need to. The implications hung heavy. Angelo had been working with Morelli's even before Elena arrived. Maybe for years. The texts, the threats, all designed to destabilize Dominic, make him paranoid, drive wedges between him and his allies. Where is he? His condo. Probably doesn't know we know yet. Keep him under surveillance. Don't approach. I want to understand the full scope before we move. But over the next week, the pieces fell into place. Angelo had been feeding intelligence to a faction within the Morelli family. Not Victor, a nephew. Someone ambitious. Someone who wanted to restart the war and use the chaos to take over both organizations. The confrontation happened at the estate. Family tribunal. Angelo brought in. Evidence presented. His face when he saw the financial records told the whole story. Dominic's voice carried the weight of 7 generations. You betrayed family, put Elena in danger, tried to start a war that would have killed hundreds. Why? Angelo's desperation manifested as bitterness. Because she's nothing. A waitress who got lucky. And you treat her like she's what I choose. And that choice is mine to make. I'm your blood. And you sold that blood for what? Money? Power? The promise of running Philadelphia when Victor fell? Angelo had no answer. The silence condemned him. The sentence? Exile. Permanent. Every family from Atlanta to Boston would be notified. Angelo Salvatore was radioactive, unemployable in the underworld, stripped of name and protection, worse than death as Dominic had promised. 6 months later, April 2026, magnolia trees bloomed across the Salvatore estate. White petals fell like snow that smelled of spring. Elena stood in the bride's room adjusting her dress. Simple, elegant. Nothing like Isabella would have chosen, because Elena wasn't Isabella and never would be. Kate worked on her hair. You're really doing this. I really am. Mafia wife. That's a sentence I never thought I'd say about you. Life's funny that way. The ceremony took place outdoors under magnolias. Small guest list, security everywhere but subtle. Lucas stood as best man, Bex as bridesmaid. The officiant asked if Elena Marie Hartley took Dominic Michael Salvatore. She answered before the question finished. I do. Laughter rippled through guests. Dominic's turn came. Same question, same answer, same conviction. The kiss sealed it. Promises made, futures intertwined. Reception flowed like good wine. Kate cornered Elena during cocktails. Are you happy? Happier than I've been in years. Good, because if he screws this up, I'm shooting him. With your Glock? Damn right. First Dance. At Last by Etta James. Dominic whispered against her hair. No regrets? None. You? Only that the wrong number took so long to find me. The words wrapped around Elena's heart and settled there. Sometimes wrong numbers led exactly where you needed to go. The reception wound down. Guests departed. Elena and Dominic stood on the balcony overlooking their estate, their future, their choice. 300 miles north, a phone rang in a Philadelphia office. Victor Morelli answered. It's done. Angelo's been handled. Your nephew, too. He won't be causing problems. Good. The truce holds then. The truce holds. And Victor? Thanks for the warning. Don't mention it. Literally, this conversation never happened. Understood. In Atlanta, magnolia petals fell like benediction. Elena leaned into Dominic's warmth, watched the sun set on the best wrong decision she'd ever made. You know what I realized? What's that? Sometimes the wrong number is exactly the right answer. Dominic kissed her temple, held her close. Across the grounds, Lucas and Bex maintained perimeter. Jackson checked security feeds. Preston balanced accounts. The machinery of their world turned with precision. And at its center, two people who'd found each other through accident and chosen each other through intention. The future remained uncertain. Dangers still lurked. But tonight, under magnolia trees and fading light, Elena and Dominic had everything that mattered. Each other. And the choice to face whatever came next together. The wrong number had led her home after all.